Hi, this is Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft back with you again. One thing I wanted to do today was try a couple passive fishing techniques. Once you get past the basics of survival of fire, shelter, water, you go past that 3-day, 72-hour scenario. Something you have to look at is food procurement. Wild edibles are a great source. They're easy to catch, but they're not always available. This time of year, right now it's July, not a lot of games in season, but it's prime time for fishing. One of the advantages of a passive technique as opposed to being out there with a rod and reel is I am fishing while I'm doing other tasks. So while I was at a bait shop, I saw a commercial trot line setup. So I thought I'd open it up, try it out today, and give it a few days and see how it produces. Let me open this kit up and we'll see what's in here. Alright, so this kit is 100 foot of line. It's quite strong line, 210-pound test. It's actually, that seems to be like a nylon type rope, but if you think about it, there's 20 hooks on this setup as it is, so you could actually conceivably haul in a boatload of fish at once here. That's why you need an actual line for a header line as opposed to just a light fishing tackle, something like that. There's swivels also included in this. I can just imagine having 100 foot out, even if you get 50%, if you're bringing in 10 fish, it's going to be a big mess. So I'm sure the swivels help to keep the tangle down to a minimum. But let's open it up here and see what we got. Okay, here's the main line. This is pretty straightforward. I am not going to get into this till we get out to the water's edge here. My plan right now is I'm going to get some maybe forearm size sticks, probably about 2 feet long, maybe 3 feet long. Drive them into the ground on either side. I'll get this stretched out and I'll see how far across the farm pond here that I can get to. I would like to, if possible, maybe throw like a rabbit stick with some smaller bank line across the pond. That way I'm able to retrieve the fish like on a pulley system, similar you do with like an old-time clothesline. So I'll get the sticks in and I'll start running this line out. I'm going to leave that coiled up for now. And this is probably set up for like a catfish or something. I know there's largemouth bass in this pond as well as bluegill. So we'll see if these hooks are a decent size for what I'm going to use them for. Bundled up fairly decently. I'm sure I'll never get them this nice again. Okay, here we go. And these are quite large hooks. Did you see those? The old saying goes, large hooks catch large fish, small hooks catch all fish. So if I was actually going to set this up for local use, I would use smaller hooks. But it's something commercial I thought I would give a try to. Another key point here is how the hooks are set up. Instead of being tied on with a traditional twist type fishing knot, the cord is basically taken in half. It's pushed through the eye of the hook, around the shank, and then that's almost married together. Looking at the line, looks like I've got swivels, so I'm probably going to put a figure 8 knot in the line and then attach that. Another option I would have would be putting this back to a traditional fishing knot that would be through the loop and then twist it. I don't know the name of this knot. I've known it since I was a kid. That's what my grandpa taught me, so that's really the only one I know for fishing line. So bring the line back down around the twist, draw it up, and then do, you know, an overhand or a bowline or something similar on top. And then that way I could actually vary the length of the hooks. So I might set it up the way it's designed for the first time. And then if that doesn't work out, then I'll try to vary the hooks for my particular environment and see how it works best. This is all just a troubleshooting thing. I figure it's better to try it now when I'm not in a situation where I actually need to produce food for myself than need it and be opening this kit in the middle of nowhere trying to figure out how it all works. So I'm going to cut my poles. Next time the camera's on, we'll be set up at the water's edge and I'll be getting this thing set up. Thanks. Get up and we'll see what's in here. Alright, this is the farm pond that we have access to fish, and I'm unable to throw a rabbit stick across it. So my original plan of just, you know, tossing a line across, never getting wet, is not going to be an option for this. So what I am going to do, I'm going to walk the line out along the shore approximately, you know, 35-40 yards out. Drive the stake in there. It would be similar to like if you had a cove situation where you could take a long walk around, but you'd still be able to bypass the water. If this was a stream or something, or a river, I was trying to set a trot line across, you're gonna have to get wet. There's really no other way about it. But that's the plan right now. I'm gonna stretch this, take a stick, run some standard bank line over to the other side, around the pole, back through, and we'll see how it goes. This is smaller than 36. I believe this is like a number 24. Doesn't really matter what it is. I just have it, so I'm going to use it for this. I'm going to put a real loose, lazy clove hitch around here, just so it doesn't come off while I'm on the other side. As soon as I get that side on, put a stopper knot in here also. As soon as I get the other side driven into the ground and looped around, I'm going to walk back to this side with the spool still in my hand, and then we'll feed the manufactured trot line on. Okay. So now that I'm doing this initially, I'm thinking, why do I even have a trot line in the first place? I mean, I could use this bank line or just use standard monofilament fishing line. Come off the main header line with hooks. I guess it's an experiment. We'll see if the swivels do anything for me. Again, I could carry swivels easier than I could carry that, but it's just extra cordage, so it doesn't really hurt anything. If I don't need a trot line and I am short of cordage, I'll just cannibalize the trot line